we can take more oxygen into our bodies by just lying down and breathing. It's a fascinating subject, something we do anyway, so we might as well become really effective in doing it. Welcome, Deanna.
Thanks, Helen. Great question. And one of the really interesting things is people don't really think of the diaphragm as being a muscle because it's inside the body. So like if you're going to the gym and you have a goal to look a certain way, you don't really see the diaphragm. So you don't think to work it out like you might your arms or your shoulders or your back, your legs. But what is really interesting about the mechanics of proper diaphragmatic breathing is that it's at the base of the lungs where 70% of the oxygen receptor sites reside. So we need to bring the air deeply into the lungs to allow the oxygen to absorb through those receptors and absorb into the bloodstream, as well as to move the waste out of the body effectively with that full exhalation. So the challenge is that pain, fear, and stress cause us to reactively hold the breath. Now, we're not going to stop breathing because our bodies are built to survive. But that's what happens when we breathe through the muscles of the upper chest. We're only in survival mode. In order to thrive, we need to feed every one of our trillions of cells with oxygen and the other nutrients. So when we revert to this upper chest breathing, which is pretty much the common state of how everybody breathes, we're only pulling the air partway into the lungs and we're not reaching the base where all of these alveoli reside. So simply by lying on your back, putting your hands on your belly and feeling the belly rise with the inhalation and fall with the exhalation, you're pulling that air more deeply into the lungs and you're allowing the body to absorb up to 6 times the oxygen. So think about that. That's 600% more oxygen running through your system by changing the way that you breathe. Now, it's interesting too, because of the way that the fascia binds and holds the rib cage out of alignment over time, we don't automatically have full access to this muscle. And that's where block therapy comes in, because through the process of working through the rib cage, melting those adhesions that have blocked and locked the rib cage out of alignment, we can then create that room for that diaphragm muscle to start functioning. And it's a process. We strengthen, we release, we strengthen, we release. And the longer we go and the more that we do, the more we can access this powerful muscle to keep us young and healthy lifelong.
Yeah, that's so amazing, that this function that we do every single day, but yet most people are not utilizing it to its greatest benefit at all. And just with a simple tweak, right? Just becoming more conscious about what you're doing, you can bring in so much more oxygen. And when we have more oxygen going to our cells, function properly, and everything else just starts to work like it should.
And it's interesting too, because the diaphragm is a unique muscle. It's the only muscle in the body that is under both our conscious and unconscious control. So most people aren't conscious of pretty much how they use their body at all. So we're not conscious breathers, and that's the reality, because we weren't really trained to be. That wasn't something that we were really taught to do as a child. As a child, it was a natural process. Over time, pain, fear, and stress cause us to reactively hold the breath, and we pull away from that. And then our body adapts so fluidly, which is a beautiful thing, but it's also a curse in a sense, because we are so adaptable. We don't even recognize what we're moving away from until suddenly we have issues that force us to look at the issue. And then we can make some changes from that point. But being a conscious breather is, in my opinion, the most important thing you can do for health lifelong.
Right. And it's what really teaches you to intuitively and unconsciously become a conscious breather, so that you're doing it all the time without really being aware of what you're doing, rather than being unaware. And also it helps you to become aware of what is actually going on in your body, because like you said, we just are unaware of it because we just don't know what to pay attention to.
And we're so on the surface, like we don't dive in. And that's what we're doing with this process. By lying on this tool and melting those adhesions, we keep diving to the next layer, the deeper layer, the deeper layer. And our body is filled with these cells that carry the intelligence of the ages, yet they're not really communicating with us because they're blocked from those adhesions. So the more we go, the more we connect to what our purpose is, to what health is, and to what our bodies really need. It's the cells have a language, And it's kind of like, they're speaking a language that we don't know because we haven't been taught the language, but the process of block therapy teaches you to hear the language and understand what your cells are saying.
Yeah, I love that. Block therapy teaches the language of your body. I really like that. And your cells, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Really cool. Thanks, Deanna. And we look forward to chatting to you next time.
Oh, my pleasure.